All right. Thanks everyone for joining us yet again. We've got another video series with Chris and Devin and the Ntirety team to go over some more of their services. One of their, I think, pillars. Is that right? Another pillar, or yeah.
Yeah, correct, Russ.
So yeah, excited to have them back on here, and we'll be sharing this out for everybody soon as well. So welcome again, guys, and thanks a lot.
Awesome. Thanks, Russ. And yeah, hello to everyone watching and listening. Today we're going to talk about one of our key service areas, as Russ mentioned, and we're going to focus in on the compliance piece of the puzzle. We've been through infrastructure, we've been through cybersecurity, so now we're hitting the nail on the head when it comes to compliance. So what I'm going to do, as I always, Russ, is I'm going to share my screen, and if I could ask if you could see everything okay, that would be perfect.
Yep, it's up there and good to go.
Lovely. Okay. So when it comes to the Ntirety compliance process, we see three key areas that we offer here. Number one is a structured program build. Number two is a vCISO hours. We have it listed here as guidance and support, but we're going to dig into that as vCISO, which is Virtual Chief Information Security hours. And then lastly, we have our number three, which is compliance as a service, or for short, CAS, which is the ongoing management of compliance programs, which we'll also dig into as we go through this presentation. But I do want to go in order, so let's start with the structured program build. And what this is for organizations who don't have many policies or procedures when it comes to cybersecurity in place, or maybe not any at all. And so what we're able to do here with the Ntirety compliance team is to come in and help those organizations build out compliance programs, policies, and procedures from the ground up so they can become compliant with whatever industry standard that they're looking to hit. We can help them get there. And, take, for example, healthcare down in the States, HIPAA, or up in Canada here, PIPEDA, are two ones that we see often. Two of the more general ones that we see, NIST and SOC 2, we can help companies become compliant to those standards. But truly the structured program build is us coming in and taking over that compliance process and building those programs from the ground up for an organization. Chris, is anything else that I've missed here when it comes to structure program build for Ntirety clients?
No, I think you're spot on there. GDPR is another one, NIST. Just basically from a program build perspective, it's us taking charge, working with the customer, deploying some tools so that we can, organize the assessment piece, the gap assessment, and very structured from point A to point Z to get that customer the attestation they need.
There it is.
Excellent.
So Russ, I'd ask if you have any questions on that number one piece, the structured program build.
I do. So when it comes to companies, does it matter what size? Is it really just everybody essentially needs to be compliant for the most part in some way, shape, or form, whether it's for insurance purposes or just to operate in the industry they're in? Is there any limitations, restrictions, anything that maybe if I'm watching this I should know about?
Great question. Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So I would say that each of these three services may suit a different, let's say, size of organization. So when I look at structured program build, often it's companies of the SMB variety, small to medium-sized business, who don't have those standards at all, or maybe they have just started their compliance journey and are looking to build on that to become compliant. So often companies who we're helping in this space are of the smaller variety, but that's not to limit it to just the SMB space. Really, it's any organization of any size who don't have those compliance programs built out at the moment. As I say, more often than not, it is of the smaller variety for this particular service.
Yeah, it's more of a vertical that they're in as opposed to the size of the company, right? Who are they doing business with? Do they have PCI requirements or PII requirements? So things like that dictate based off of the industry and the type of business that you're in.
Got it. Sounds good.
Cool. Fantastic. So what I'm going to do now to to flip to our next point, which is number 2, Virtual Chief Information Security Officer hours. I'm actually going to flip to the next slide here because we have a slide for it. So here's some high level information about it. And what we can do here is that a client can purchase a certain amount of hours with our Ntirety compliance team, and through our internal expertise here, we can act as an acting CISO for that organization. Now, if this particular client doesn't have a CISO in place, the service is tremendous to plug and play. If the organization does have a CISO in place, this can also complement them as well. It's not a rip and replace, not a rip and replace per se. So it helps in both scenarios. So I wanted to call that out as the number one piece. And
Very
when
good
you
to
look
know.
at absolutely, mate, absolutely. Now, when you look at what the vCISO service offers, it's more of a consultative approach where we're going to work with the organization. If number one, the structured program build, if that was, and hey, Ntirety is going to come in and take over the compliance process, this is more of, hey, let's work with management of that client with the amount of hours that they've purchased to help them improve their security posture and get towards becoming compliant. And you see a couple of areas that we deliver with them, what I just said there. So you look at building out a security roadmap. So, hey, we might not be able to implement these all at one time. It might be, hey, here's the staged approach that we're going to take to become compliant, and really, really laying it out nice and clearly. Annual risk assessments is a big one that this vCISO can come in and assist with. And then obviously when it comes to passing audits, we want to make sure that our clients are doing everything to be ready for when it comes time for the auditor to come in and perform that. So those are a couple of things that the vCISO can help with. And Chris, I'll once again, I'll throw it over your way to add on to the pieces that I mentioned.
Exactly. Yeah. No worries. The biggest thing, the other value add I can see here that what differentiates us from other companies is this is a group of team basically. It's not a single person from a vCISO perspective that we're deploying or they're making available to the service. It's a group of people based off of the industry, based off of the type of compliance or attestation that you're trying to achieve. So much more value add. We have the expertise to be able to do that. So yeah.
Got it. So assuming, depending on which of the deliverables, you might have a person that specializes not only on that deliverable, but maybe also the vertical, that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So nice to be supported by not just, a person, that fills that role, but an entire team, a group of specialists dedicated. That's great.
That's absolutely correct.
Totally, mate. And additional piece of context there is that many of our compliance staff are based here in Vancouver. So when it comes to our, Canadian clients who are looking to adhere to Canadian standards, we're certainly extremely familiar with the vast majority of those. So we can come in and tick those boxes for sure.
Excellent.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. So when it comes to understanding the benefits. So we talked about, vCISO at a high level. So now let's just drop into a couple of the benefits that we see. So when you talk about aligning security needs with overall objectives, obviously that's great as an IT team, right? We're able to, row in the same direction as our overall leadership and help everyone else in the organization understand that we have to get certain security pieces in place to be successful as an overall company. I think that's a massive part is really the cybersecurity compliance, just awareness in the organization. The piece around simply identifying and remediating any vulnerabilities, through the security cybersecurity services that we've already talked about in a previous video. The use of a vCISO might identify, hey, we need this service, we need this Ntirety cybersecurity service, we need this service, and through that we are lowering risk by putting in fantastic cybersecurity policies in place. And then really we're optimizing IT spend as well, because when you think about if it's a smaller organization, for example, and they don't have a CISO, they're actually expensive individuals to hire. But Ntirety's vCISO comes at certainly a fraction of that price. And when it comes to these sort of individuals, they often jump between companies because different companies are paying them more and more and more to jump ship. But with Ntirety, you've got us. We're not going to jump ship. So there's a couple of other
And
key
not just an
benefits.
individual, a team. So
A
again,
team.
another key differentiator. It's a team. You can hire the the vCISO for a $500,000 or more a year, or you have significantly lower cost and an entire team to support you with different specialties. So I mean that right there, cost alone, the fact that it's cost and a team behind you instead of an individual, that's to me it's a no-brainer.
I agree, Russ. Absolutely. When you put that all together, we feel like we can just add a tremendous amount of value to any organization for sure.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Chris, any other input on this piece?
No, I think you hit it right on the head there, Russell. It's definitely value add right there.
Yep, absolutely. Fantastic team. So with that being said, let's flick through to our next piece here, which is our CAS piece. So compliance as a service. So we've talked about number one, structured program build, number two,
Mhm.
vCISO hours. Now we're dipping into our third category when it comes to Ntirety's compliance philosophy. So compliance as a service, and what we mean here is that you know compliance certainly is an annual process where you have to be compliant year over year. It's not just a one-time thing. When you look at all of those supported regulations, and those are just a handful, there's many that we can
Mhm.
support. They all are an annual process. So this is really what CAS is centered around. It's not just that one-time piece, which potentially the structured program build and vCISO can help with. This is that ongoing management piece and helping companies really stay in business. Let Ntirety take that weight off your shoulders. Let
Mhm.
us help you become compliant so you can focus on your go-to-market and focus on whatever other area of your business needs attention, really.
Right.
Chris, I'll throw the metaphorical ball over your way. Anything else to input on this?
It's all about making sure that that they stay in compliance, right? So with our CAS service, we deploy our GRC tooling so that the customer absolutely has full access to as well. But that's a huge value add right there as well. Just again, making sure that we have a structured process. We've got documentation. We've got the process and the procedures down that the customers can see. Regarding make sure that they maintain their compliance with their attestation.
Mhm.
Totally. And often on this piece here, Russ, an organization may have already vastly built out their own policies and procedures, but they require a team to come in with the ongoing management piece.
Right.
So that's really where this piece is influential. And with that being said, this is the last slide that I have today, team, and really it's just the benefits. We talked about the benefits of vCISO, so here's the benefits of CAS, compliance as a
Mhm.
service. And you look at how we said, hey, compliance is an annual process. Well, these standards and regulations are actually ever changing. So with Entirety's assistance here, you can actually meet those standards a lot quicker, we feel, than what a company could as if they were to react to these standards changing. We're on top of it, and we're going to help you become compliant even quicker. So I think that's a really massive piece to call out. Um, I've mentioned the ongoing guidance as a tremendous benefit. Year over year, you can rest assured that you are going to be compliant with Ntirety. And really, the lowering cost piece, I have to mention it as I did with the vCISO piece, simply by increasing that operational efficiency by handing this process off to Ntirety. You know, you're not number one saving cost, but saving time as well. So you can focus your attention on other areas, as I've already mentioned. But just wanted to really nail that one down. So those would be a couple of the key benefits. And lastly, Chris, I'll loop you in for any that I may have missed or you feel that are super influential as well.
I think you hit it spot on there. It's just lower cost, to engage with us from a CAS perspective than it
Mhm.
is to let your resources focus on revenue generating tasks.
Mhm.
So know, a lot of customers have their IT people doing compliance. So yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So let's let the IT guys work on what their
Yeah, the
expertise.
systems and the tools and the things that,
Yeah,
enables the business to operate efficiently and, react to the market, and whether it's more revenue or, whatever the case may be. And let's get, your teams handling all that other stuff so that it's just, working hand in hand. So absolutely.
exactly.
Correct. Correct. And with that, Russ, I'll stop sharing there. And that's the presentation we had on the compliance piece. Would love to connect with individuals and organizations on this. It's certainly something that is extremely important. We want to stay in business at
Yeah,
the highest level. We want to stay in business. So let Ntirety help you with that.
absolutely. And by all means, reach out to the defendmybusiness.com team. We're here to, field any questions, get you connected with the Ntirety team, start that process, your journey towards whether it's a vCISO, compliance, whatever needs you have. And anything beyond that, we're here, we're ready to help and get you guys connected with Devin, Chris, and their teams to support the business and make sure that, you're compliant, protected. You're focusing on the business and not worrying about all those other things. Let's let the experts in Ntirety worry about that stuff on your behalf and take care of it, and then you can focus on moving your business forward. So really appreciate the time, Devin and Chris, today, and looking forward to the next video series here with you guys, the next topics. So for those of you watching, stay tuned, more to come. And with that, I really appreciate it, guys. Thanks a lot.
Yes. Awesome. Always a pleasure, Russ. And thanks for everyone for tuning in. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Russell.
Right.
All right.
See you guys.